With just 8 days until the election, both the Harris and Trump campaigns are making one final push with their last argument to voters. The race is still neck and neck, with Harris having the slight edge over Trump in the latest national poll. Very slight. Pollsters say the election will likely be decided by which campaign can rally voters in this final stretch, particularly in those swing states. So the vice president has been focusing her final message on health care and the economy, while the former president has been focusing on immigration and the economy. We see the through line there, though. NewsNation's Kelly Meyer is live for us at the White House. And Kelly, you have a closer look at both presidential campaigns.
Yeah, that's right. We're looking at their closing message in this final week of the race, their final pitch to voters. As you said, it's all about making sure their supporters get out to vote. So they're talking a lot about early voting. They're talking a lot about making sure those voters get out 1 week from tomorrow for Election Day. And we're seeing them crisscross those battleground states in the final week of the race. We've been out with Kamala Harris on the campaign trail in Texas and then on to Michigan. She's back in Michigan today. And as my colleagues are reporting on, they keep that focus there on the battlegrounds because that's where they want to see the turnout of voters to make sure they can get them across the finish line. And as you mentioned, the race neck and neck, 48.5 to 48.0, neck and neck there nationwide, according to our latest Decision Desk HQ polling. Another note here that we're watching for at the White House is whether or not President Joe Biden will be joining Vice President Kamala Harris on the campaign trail in the final week of this election. He is right now casting his own ballot in Delaware for Kamala Harris, of course, but we are not sure if he will be joining her. Some say it would be an advantage to her if he does in places like Scranton, Pennsylvania or Erie, Pennsylvania, but for others, they think it would be a disadvantage to Harris for him to come out and campaign for her. Nichole.
All right. So, Kelly, how are the campaigns potentially changing their messages in this final week?
So we've noticed this a lot, especially as we've been covering the Harris campaign side this weekend. There has been a lot of questions around whether she should keep her focus on former President Trump and take up time from talking about her own positions, her own policies, and herself. So we're seeing really even both of the candidates trying to spread this message of joy. We hear a lot of that talk as we were at the Harris rally this weekend, talking about her joyful vibes and that presence that she brings. So really trying to shift the messaging to who do you want in the White House. She tries to paint former President Trump as this dark force, and she would be a positive new light. Here's more from what she had to say about her opponent. Take a listen to this.
For the next 9 days, no one can sit on the sidelines. There is too much on the line, and we must not wake up the day after the election and have any regrets about what we could have done in these next 9 days.
Now, former President Donald Trump, of course, he had that big rally at Madison Square Garden in New York City. It's also interesting to see Harris campaigning in a state like Texas and then Trump campaigning in a state like New York. Both of those generally flip-flop in terms of who they go for, but they're using these big stages as a messaging point to get their message out to the battlegrounds. Even Trump last night trying to focus on this new kind of hope that he would bring if he returns here to the White House. Take a listen to this.
Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans.
Now, Vice President Kamala Harris will be here in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. She is set to give a speech from the Ellipse, the same spot where former President Donald Trump spoke on January 6th. This will be, as they're calling it, a major closing message of her campaign. The permit is set for about 20,000 people, so that's how many people they are expecting there on the Ellipse tomorrow here in Washington, D.C. Nichole.
All right, Kelly Meyer live for us there in D.C. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.